Hello and welcome to Bespoke Unit. My name is Rafael and in this video I'm going to be doing a detailed review of the Seiko 5 Sports SBSA027. Now the SBSA027 is marked by a steel case construction, black dial and bezel, dual material strap, and by being made entirely in Japan. Anyways, I'll be getting into those details and much more in the review, so let's get started. Here we have it on my wrist, the Seiko 5 Sports SBSA027. Not a very slim watch, definitely a very attractive watch, and I think that certainly makes up for it. I'm a person that usually prefers watches that are 40 millimeters and less in diameter. Nevertheless, this wears great. It's incredibly comfortable. Does seem to wrap very nicely around the wrist. I think the strap is particularly comfortable, and I'll get into the strap in a little bit, but super attractive. It's both formal and sporty, and I guess that's very much what Seiko's going for in this specialist line, which this SBSA027 is a part of. Great watch. Let's take a closer look. Now the dimensions on this officially are 42.5 millimeters in diameter. You can see that's about right. It is kind of difficult to get a measure with the crown guards there, but looks like we were right on the money. Lug to lug, 46 millimeters. Again, it is a larger watch, or at least on the paper it's kind of large, but it doesn't necessarily wear those numbers. 13.4 in thickness. Yeah, you can't hide that thickness anywhere. And strap size, 22 millimeters. If you were not a fan of this dual material, I'm sure you've got a 22 millimeter strap laying around the house, especially if you're a fan of the Seiko SKXs, which, as many of you know, were replaced by this new generation of Seiko 5 Sports. Now, taking a closer look at the case, you can see that we have lug holes again, which make it super easy to change the straps. We do have a brushed finish on top of the lugs, polished crown guards. The top of the crown there is brushed. Does have some nice texture there to help you wind it. Polished case sides. And our polished bezel, but it's got this knurled texture, so it does make it quite easy to get a grip on it and spin it around. Hoping I can capture the clicking on the mic here, which in my opinion is very satisfactory. Now, taking a closer look at the bezel, you can see that it's a black, I believe it's aluminum, or at least it's a metal insert. It's a black with silver or metallic tone contrasting markings, so definitely matches the steel. And that silver on black is a theme that we're going to see throughout. As you can see here on the dial, the rehaut, or the internal minutes track, is silver printing, obviously on that black background. Here, let's need to clean the crystal a little bit to give you guys a better look. Now the indices, you can see there are polished steel, again applied on the dial, and they've got tons of lume. The lume in this case is going to be lumen bright, so that's a bright green. You can see the hands at center are also polished steel. And again, tons of lume on them. I do like to point out that the seconds hand, although many don't notice this at first, is two tones. So you have a luminous lollipop motif here on one end, and then the other is in silver or white. And then obviously this back half is black. So it does offer some very nice contrast. If you're ever needing to measure time down to the second, this watch will definitely do the job for you. Now, some of you may have noticed that there's a made in Japan printing down there. And if you hadn't seen that printing already, you maybe would have realized by the reference, the SBSA027 reference, that this piece is made entirely in Japan. Now, a lot of you may be wondering, what makes it special? I don't know. There's a lot of collectors that find it very important to know exactly where the timepiece was made. We do have, or this model is available with a different reference where it looks exactly the same, but the difference being that the watch isn't made in Japan. So this one is the SRPE 21. You can see there at the bottom of the dial it says movement Japan, so it's only the movement that's made in Japan. The rest of the watch is made elsewhere. Seiko really doesn't specify, but there's really very, very few differences. You can see here on the crystal case back it says movement Japan, same as the dial, but looks and performance as far as the timing, the accuracy, the movement is exactly the same. Strap is the same. I even wonder if they're made in the same place. Dials, case backs, where this one said movement Japan, and I haven't removed the sticker here from the SBSA. This one says made in Japan. So it's tiny differences. Even the finishing on the movements is exactly the same. But as many of us know, watch collectors can be picky and finicky, and Seiko knows that, and they're playing to that. Now, you're likely to pay a price premium, again, because I do believe these made in Japan watches they're either made in fewer quantities or at least more desirable. So you're likely to encounter a price premium, and then that just comes down to you as the owner of the watch if you're willing to pay more for knowing that a watch is made entirely in Japan, or one that looks exactly the same and it's not really made in Japan. Anyways, we'll leave that up to you. I'm moving on to the strap, which, as you can see here, is a very, very pliable silicone, and it's mixed or matched here with a brown, dark brown alligator style material. It's not actual alligator, or at least I don't think it is. It does quite look the part. I've had tons of experience with alligator straps, and this is maybe a little shiny, but I think it looks great. I do have some lighting set up here, so that's probably what's making it shinier. Nevertheless, a great looking strap. It fuses, again, rubber with alligator to make this kind of weird combination that, in my opinion, works really, really well. So you can almost wear this watch. I feel like I could wear it with a shirt. I am with now, maybe it'll match better with a white shirt, with a white button down, let's say. And I could just as easily wear it with a tee and shorts and sandals in Florida. So it's done really, really well. We do have a silicone black rubber keeper and polished tang buckle branded. Very, very nice. I do like to point out that there are some channels here under this strap. I don't know if this is by design or merely to allow or make it easier for this stitching there, but I do think it helps to prevent your wrist from sweating just because the rubber isn't sticking directly on it all the time. You do get a little bit of air under there, so that's quite comfortable. And that leads me to the back of the watch, which, as you can see now, here is a sapphire case back, or at least a see-through case back. I'm not sure that it's sapphire. Speaking of which, this crystal isn't sapphire. This crystal is going to be hardlex, which is not as scratch resistant as the more expensive sapphire, but it is anti-reflective. You can see from a bunch of angles. I can still get a good look at the time. All right, that one's getting a little blown out with the window, but other than that, looks great, and it is shadow resistant. So for most purposes, hardlex will work just fine. I would imagine perhaps hardlex is also used back here. It's not, maybe not. You don't need to take as many hits, or the back of the watch isn't likely to take as many hits as the face of it. But what it does do is it allows us to see the 4R36 movement. This is an upgraded movement, or a relatively new movement that Seiko is putting on these Seiko 5 Sports. It's 41 hours power reserve, and you can see the finishing there. It's simple, but I think it's quite attractive, and every watch nut, or every watch nerd, I think, always likes to look at the balance of their timepiece beating away and keeping it ticking. I mentioned the power reserve is 41. The accuracy is plus 45 seconds to minus 35 seconds a day. So again, it's no chronometer, but it's not meant to be. It's not priced as a chronometer. So as far as a daily watch, and even a special gift watch, it'll do the job just fine. Again, most of us use our cell phones for timing, not our watches. But when you don't need accuracy, or you don't need extreme accuracy or precision in your timepiece, and you do want a watch that looks great, is very versatile as far as style, certainly check out this SBSA027. There you have it. That's our review of the Seiko 5 Sports SBSA027. Now, if that left you with any questions or comments, make sure to leave them in the section below. Drop us a like if you found the video helpful, and subscribe to our channel for more wristwatch and men's lifestyle content. As always, I'm Rafael. This is Bespoke Unit. Thanks for watching.